I get this message from this guy, and I'm like, ooh, fun, like, giddy girl vibes. And yeah, I called him back, and then we planned to meet up on the at the beach out here in Hawaii. When Adam first walked up, he's like walking down the hill. I can remember this moment very well. And he's like this big, strong, buff guy. And I'm like, oh my gosh, he looks like a gladiator. Or something like that, you know?
Yeah, like some big guy, football, But
then, like, you're just so nice, too.
Yeah.
Like, and so easy to kind of, feel warm and welcome right away.
welcome to All Things Possible with Adam.
And Bethany, we're so glad you're here. We hope that our podcast is weekly inspiration, encouragement, and just a place of refuge and a place to encourage you not only in health, in family, connection, relationships, but also, most of all, in your faith.
Awesome.
And yeah, we're just glad to be here with y'all.
So be sure to hit the like button, subscribe, and if you can, please leave us a 5-star review because it's awesome, right?
Big and little announcement. You can also leave a review and add a question at the bottom of your review, and we're going to do a special episode answering some of your questions. So go ahead and leave us a review, and if you have a special question, say your name and your question if you'd like us to highlight your name, and we will, do our best to respond to your questions.
Don't be afraid to go deep. We like to go there.
Yes.
We like to think deep. So, all right, we're stoked. So let's jump in with Proverbs 3, verse 5 and 6. This is a classic one for all of us, but let's ponder on this just a second. It says, trust in the Lord with all your heart and do not lean on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge him, and he will make straight your paths.
Yes, and I think this is just a continual call in our life to trust in the Lord. And what does that even mean, though? Like, to trust in the Lord?
I think it means there's a lot there that we could unpack, but knowing him, being in his word, and fearing the Lord. It talks about the fear of the Lord is wisdom. So trusting and knowing that you're in his hands. And that was so true for our story.
Yeah.
And that's why we wanted to jump in with that one, because there's so much that happens in life where you just have to throw up your hands like, what's going on? But also beautiful things too. And you just have to trust the Lord in all those circumstances. And so relevant for your life and what you went through and then our story of how we met.
Yeah, it's like often I think when we're going through life, leaning not on your own understanding is kind of like sometimes life just feels like a bunch of wipeouts in a row and you're just kind of like, what is going on? And you're trying to like keep putting one foot in front of the other. But sometimes it can just be downright, hard, and it's hard to trust in the Lord. And so like one way I think we can trust in the Lord too is just looking to his word, what his word says about life, how to live life, to trust that his grace is sufficient for us. So whether we make mistakes or those around us make mistakes, we can trust that God will work through those mistakes, and just to pray and acknowledge God in all that we go through, and he will direct our path. He will make our path straight. And then I wanted to go into verse 7 too, because it says, be not wise in your own eyes, fear the Lord and turn away from evil. And I think the world is so we're so, often think that we know it all or think that we know a lot.
It's true.
A lot of people don't want to receive instruction or don't have an open mind to working on the challenges that they're facing. Or
think about when things are going so good you know, have you seen that circle which says like good times create weak men, hard times create strong men? So, I mean, how applicable is that to like just everyone's life when things are going good? Like, you know,
Yeah.
I don't need the gospel, or like, you know, I'm doing fine.
Yeah.
And it's hard to accept the fact that when we have that attitude and we have that mindset, we're slowly drifting, drifting, drifting. But
Mm.
the Lord, when we're acknowledging Him and acknowledging the need for His forgiveness and grace, like we're going to align with His ways, get on that straight path.
Yes. And then let's finish with, and, turn away from evil. Like, the
Mm.
Lord calls us to what is good and right and beautiful and not evil. And there's a lot of evil in the world. So, how can you even know what evil is? If you look to the Bible and read God's word, you will know. And so that's why you'll often see in culture, like, some people have a moral foundation, and a lot of people who are Christians have that moral foundation leading and guiding them. And it's because they trust in the Lord and they're not leaning on their own understanding, but they're turning away from evil. They're fearing the Lord. They're praying and asking God to lead and direct their lives. So we just want to encourage you guys, like, the Lord is for you and He wants to help you to lead a life that is beautiful and good and full of hope.
You know, that kind of ties into our story of like, there's been so many points in our life where the Lord has used each other to, it talks about like the Lord works in so many ways. A lot of times He works in the ways like with people that are surrounding us and with us. So our journey has been one of like constant sanctification, a journey of, just beauty, of hope, but also it's always not always perfect. But I think the beauty of it starts like when we first met. We were just had such young hearts, just on fire for God, and like
I don't know about on fire for God, but you
you
could,
were,
maybe.
you were in the mix of it. You were just coming off Soul Surfer. You had
Well,
just made Soul Surfer, and that was like a huge point in your journey of like getting your story out there for the purpose of encouraging
yeah, totally.
the world, of like through your faith and to pointing to Christ, especially when you face hard times. So,
Yeah, so today we're going to dive into how Adam and I met. Woohoo! Should we get into it?
yeah, like I said, like, so when we met, you had just come off a busy
Making
season.
Soul Surfer. I had been competing on the World Qualifying Series, so I was traveling all over the world, surfing and events, competing, and I had had some really good seasons and also some rough seasons. Competitive surfing is such an up and down sport. It can be so hard. You'll travel all the way across the world and lose your first heat, and you're just completely devastated. And then sometimes you have good events, and it's just incredible feeling. But I had just decided to take a break from the qualifying series, and then I was at home and I was going to my integrative health doctor, and his wife was talking to me, and she was like, "Hey, like, there's this guy we think you should meet." And
Did she say anything about me being from Kansas when she said that?
no, but I got a picture of Adam, and it was a picture of Adam. If you're watching the video version, if you're on YouTube, you can see how big Adam is, but built big, and there's this picture of Adam with a kid on his shoulders and like 5 children in
Running
tow.
behind me.
And it was the most adorable photo. I was like, oh, sure, let's go.
So it's always funny, like, yeah, I guess whenever at speaking events and you talk about me and I'm being from Kansas, everyone just thinks it's hilarious.
Everyone just
that,
roars in laughter. I'll be like, yeah, and my husband's from Kansas.
You're like,
And they just all
"What?"
bust laugh.
Just the irony of like this beautiful Hawaiian surfer girl and like this like football Kansas boy, it's just funny. So I ended up out in Hawaii because I was working at a Kanakuk camps in Missouri, and I was a counselor there. And one of my campers, man, you think about like Missouri, it's like full of spiders, water moccasins, copperheads, like rattlesnakes. But this camper I had named Kai was just walking around barefoot all the time, and I had to be on. I'm like, hey man, you gotta put your shoes on. You can't do that here in Missouri. And he's this kid from Kauai.
That would have been me too. I grew up
Yeah.
barefoot, never wore shoes. It was a struggle to, even in elementary school, we'd go to school barefoot. And nowadays, you gotta like put shoes on and, you know.
This part of the culture. It was hilarious. I got connected with him and his family, but they're a Young Life family. He was his dad Ward is an area director for New Zealand, and they were taking a sabbatical on Kauai, and they saw a deep need for youth ministry on the west side of the island. So come my senior year of college, Ward calls me up and he says, hey, do you want to start Young Life with me on the west side of Kauai? I was like, in my head, I was like, yes. But he's like, you better pray about it. I'm like, okay, I'll go. We'll pray about it over the next couple of weeks. But I'm like, yes.
One prayer and
Yeah. I'm like, you don't have to ask me twice, man. Grew up in Kansas, small town of like 3,000 people. The town I grew up in was 100.
100,
100
if that.
people. Yeah. So, grew up next to a river and just playing around goofy children. But when he said that, I was at a point in my life where I was doing education with teaching, and I was doing my student teaching program, and things just weren't feeling like this was something that I know God wanted me to work with children in a way, and I thought teaching was that thing that I was being called to, but through that experience, it's like, this is not right. There's so many like political things in the background of teaching in the public school, and I was like really confused and not knowing what to do next. And when Ward called me, I'm like,
yes,
all right,
please.
Lord, like the door's open, come out to Kauai, and living on his couch, living on other people's couches, and work coaching football, teaching school, substitute teaching. And I've been there for a year.
But I also want you to give a little context of you're kind of this like white guy moving out to Hawaii, the west side of the island, and it's pretty intense area, especially for like you're thrown into the mix of thick Hawaiian culture.
Yeah, and that was awesome. Like honestly, when I got there, I saw the heart of the people and I knew them because it felt very similar of like a small town in Kansas. Really, like some of my best buddies were the rednecks in their big trucks going mudding and got their guns. And I'm like, oh, I know these locals.
Yeah, because everyone out here drives
like
huge trucks, and they have their hunting dogs. They're all hunting, and it's just like it's a different culture out here. And I really think that when I was thinking about who I would marry, I always thought it would be kind of hard to marry someone from abroad, just that they wouldn't understand Hawaiian, culture. And I didn't intend to live anywhere else. I thought I would always kind of be here. And it wasn't that I felt like I needed to marry like a local boy, but at the same time, I was just like a little nervous because when you're not from Hawaii, you kind of like stick out like a sore thumb, and there's a bit of a like cultural clash, so to say. And so, but it was cool because Adam was thrown into the thick of the Hawaiian culture, and he was coaching football, so he got really integrated into the community. Like everyone loved him out there. Like people still remember him, and he hasn't lived on the west side since
12 years.
A long time. He like really made an impression.
Yeah, my students will see me and be like, "Oh, Mr. Adam."
Yeah.
But it was cool because where that guard goes up with the locals is like so many people come here and they come to like take.
Yeah.
And they come to like have their experience, and they walk over whoever, and like no respect.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard.
As soon as like I came in and was showing like I'm here to like serve the community, be a part of the community, and give everything I have to you guys. Like, and it was, I got uncles inviting me to their Super Bowl party, and the luau down the street, and I was like, it was really rad. Yeah. And I still have a heart for the west side. and love it over there. But so my journey, as I was doing that, it was still like pretty lonely. Like I had Ward. He's like an older fellow, and it was
Ward was like amazing for your life too.
yeah,
Ward is just like a unique human and very mentor like character. He's just a blessing to anyone who knows him. And
yeah.
so Adam's blessed to just live with this rad family
Learned
who's
so
loving
much.
on him, leading
Yeah.
and guiding him in an amazing way, and kind of like a good time in your life to have like that
Yeah.
mentor like, figure.
I really needed that for sure. But yeah, like I was saying, there's not a big community of, Christian men and women that are like, not down to like party or like live in a certain manner, so to say, because it's such a small island. And like the pool of people like in that college age are usually like off island.
Yeah.
They may leave and
True.
eventually come back maybe, but so I was like pretty desperate, so to say, not quite desperate, but like wanting that connection,
longing.
looking for like peers who had similar values and
Maybe longing for a wife
Maybe.
too.
but maybe deep down I was like pretty content.
For
I'm like,
sure,
I don't
deep
need
down,
to
that's
feed
how God created us
100%.
wired.
100%. But I was more like, I was ready just to chill and not thinking about finding a wife. But so Ward says like, I found out later Ward and his wife were like, ooh, we need to find Adam a wife so he stays on island and works with us. And so I think they had obviously some motives with like, when they told me
Yeah.
like, hey, you should reach out to this girl named Bethany. And, she has a story like, and she's like kind of well known. And I'm like, oh, okay, being from Kansas, I guess your movie and stuff had been out for a couple of years, like, but I hadn't seen anything.
Yeah.
I hadn't heard of you. But I was more interested in the fact that like, hey, there's someone my age that I get to connect with and like, go hang out with some friends. Like that sounds amazing. So they gave me your number. They gave me your phone number and said, yeah, just give her a call. I was like, oh my goodness, the pressure's on. But I took a leap of faith there and dialed up Bethany's number and I went to voicemail.
Woohoo.
So it was like the sweet, like, hey, it's Bethany and leave your name. And I leave a voice message.
It'd be cool to hang out sometime. Hope all is well. So if you want to give me a call back, or I can call you back later. My number is 808-65. All right, hope you have a great day. Bye.
Meow. So I get this message from this guy and I'm like, ooh, fun, like, giddy girl vibes. And yeah, I called him back and then we planned to meet up on the at the beach out here in Hawaii, or on the south side.
Yeah.
And so one of my girlfriends and I like went to the south side. I think there's a few of us all kind of connecting all
This day is
together.
seared in my mind because, well, there's a few things that that went so good but so wrong. So the good part, should we start with the good part?
Yeah, the good part. When Adam first walked up, he's like walking down the hill. I can remember this moment very well. And he's like this big, strong, buff guy. And I'm like, oh my gosh, he looks like a gladiator. Or something like that, you know?
Yeah, like some big guy, football, But
then like you're just so nice too.
Yeah.
Like, and so easy
Yeah.
to kind of,
Thank you.
feel warm and welcome right away.
But so where we met up, there's this 30-foot cliff that you can jump into the ocean.
It's called Shipwreck.
Shipwrecks.
So if you ever come to Kauai and you want to check it out.
It's super rad. And me only being there for like a year and a half, I'd never jumped it. And it's just like kind of a local thing to do, right?
Yeah, which is weird that I had never jumped it either growing up there. Like, I don't know why maybe I just didn't go to shipwrecks that much. I tended to go to the other beaches to surf more.
Yeah. Yeah.
So Adam and I was
Well, everybody backed out.
yeah,
I
we
was
were like, let's go jump the cliff.
And we had like 12 other friends. We're like, nah, we're good.
I don't remember that many people. I only remember like you, Kelly, and like a
Kelly.
couple others.
There was like Hudson, Bunshu was there randomly.
yeah,
You know
anyway.
Rick Bunshu's son. Yeah. But there was quite a few people. They all backed out. And
And
Bethany
mind
was like,
you, this
I'm
jump
down.
is big. Like some people break their like bone, like their cocks on this sort of a jump. Like if you land bad, it's a high jump, high
jump.
consequence.
So when Bethany, like I had done quite a bit of cliff jumping at Kanakut because there's like sweet cliff jumps at Table Rock Lake. So I was like, this is so sick. And when Bethany said, yeah, I'll go with you, I was like, whoa, this girl, this is a big jump. So I was like, okay, this is sweet. This is super cool. And we ended up walking there up the hill all by ourselves. And we did the jump.
Ultimate icebreaker on a date, huh? hun?
Ultimate was like, wow, I want to hang out with this girl. She's rad. But once we got in the water, it was a different story.
So we jump this huge cliff, but then you have to swim like quite a bit of distance to the shore. And being from Kansas, like Adam had lakes and stuff. You'd swim in like a river or reservoir, like little like doggy swim,
paddle.
Doggy paddle swimming.
I had done swimming lessons a little bit, but ocean swimming is like a whole nother ball game. So I get in, I'm like, and there's like a little bit of swell too, so it's like rolling and a little choppy, and I'm like, all right, just take my time getting in. And Bethany's like there, like just doing laps around me.
I'm just
I'm
like a
rock.
full-blown mermaid. Yeah, there's this thing with muscular men, like they're just not as natural in the water. They sink more, and Adam was kind of like sink doggy paddling, and here I am just like mermaid trying to chat it up,
I'm trying to like,
get
don't
the
talk to me. I'm just trying to make it to the beach now.
So it was love at first jump.
Pretty much. But get this. After the jump, I'm like, hey, have you been to Papalani Gelato? And there's like this really good ice cream spot. And she's like, no. I'm like, Ward had taken me to this ice cream spot and it's so good. So we get there and we order. And I'm like, oh, I don't have my wallet.
He forgot his wallet.
I was like, do you mind spotting me? It's like
it's fine though, because he made up for it on date 2.
Date 2 was better. Yeah, I felt so bad. I'm like, okay, I gotta like, impress her. I gotta like really show up on this next time. So we went on a hike like a week or 2 later.
He almost went overboard though. Like
it was, well, that Jen kind of prepared me for that. Yeah,
Mama Jen.
For
sure she would have done that.
She was like, you got to make this avocado salad. I'll show you how to make it. And I was like, okay. Because Bethany likes to eat really healthy. And I'm like, oh, yeah,
True.
Good idea.
True.
So, like, we go on this hike, and she didn't know I'd brought like this awesome, like, avocado salad. And
you even brought, like, a cooktop.
Camp stove.
A cook stove.
And we, like,
Date 2, you guys. He brought the cook stove to warm the tortillas up.
So you had fresh warm tortillas with the salad, and it was pretty.
It was super yummy.
Magical.
You did good, hun.
Thanks.
That would even please me today.
We still kind of do the picnics.
Yeah, we
here
do
and there.
sweet stuff like that.
Yeah. So after that, like, we just connected a lot. Like, you still traveled quite a bit. You would go.
We were kind of distance dating. Like, we were a lot on Zoom because I was still traveling and surfing as a professional surfer. So, my sponsor would take me on trips and, just kind of travel a bit. And then even Soul Surfer was still releasing. It was doing its international release. I remember like Zooming you from Japan, and then I was in Indonesia and Zooming him there. And I think there was some places where there wasn't good Wi-Fi, so I think Adam was like, I think she's over me.
There was
a couple times.
I think it was after that first date. No?
Second date.
After the second date, I didn't hear from her for like 3 weeks or like 4 weeks or something. It was 3 weeks, I remember.
Wow, I don't remember that.
I was like, oh wow, did I say something? Or but it ended up being like, just a service thing. But we had but when we did connect, whenever you got back from these trips, it was almost like a fast track because we didn't do normal go see a movie and dinner date type of thing. We did more of like adventure dates and like
had long dates too, where you'd like go kayak up a river and adventure for like 5 hours.
Having like deeper conversations about life, like where I came from and my background, and like learning about you and just like our heart. I just remember like having deeper discussions about our faith and knowing like, okay, she checks off like she's a solid Christian, like she wants to be a mom, like have a family. And like, this is, even though like we're out here on the rock, like I could see this happening. And yeah, it was about 9 months in.
I can't help but think of your mom in this situation. Because now being a mom, I'm like, whoa, what if your child just like bails somewhere far away? I know this happens a lot, but imagine what was going through your mom's mind. Like her son from Kansas just bails out to Hawaii and falls in love and
like
is gone.
You know what? I think they saw just how beautiful your heart is and just how it's a solid. I mean, what mom wouldn't be happy for their son to find someone? I know. But it's hard. I'm sure it's hard. But they were nothing but supportive with, especially about 9 months in when I brought you home to Kansas. So winter out here on the island. Oh my gosh. I should tell a story about understanding surf culture.
Oh yeah. So now Adam's trying to like go surf with me. Remember, he jumps the cliff and he's like not a very subpar swimmer, like sinking in the water, but like he's also trying to come surf with me.
I had some kooky moments, but
no, I remember some classic like North Shore vibe.
Tell me, I want to know.
Like just the way you paddle, like good surfers, like you can spot a greenie from like a mile away just by the way they paddle. And I just remember you like kind of purling and wiping out all the time and and just like full blown like kind of like it's sad, but in surf culture you call them a kook if they're like don't know what they're doing and they're in the lineup with like the good surfers. So just remember, if you're learning to surf, stick to like your level appropriate waves. Because you don't want to get in like the good surfer's way or hurt them, you're kind of hazardous. So he was definitely a hazard in the lineup.
What would you do if like your brothers saw me surfing like that? Would they be like, oh, who's this guy?
Well, they would just know that you were a beginner.
Okay. Oh, but that reminds me like, okay, a month later. So I didn't hear from her for 3 weeks.
I think I had gone on a trip or something.
Radio's silent. I'm worried. I'm like, maybe I'll just go back home. Like, no, but it was like some thoughts of like,
wow, hun.
Well, anyways, I just have my hopes up. But she gets home and she's like, hey.
Oh yeah, this is
do you want
to
go to my brother's wedding with me?
Oh, no, I was thinking something else.
But I want to hear what you were thinking. But you asked me to go to your brother's wedding, like a month after we met, pretty much.
Yeah, and mind you, I didn't tell my family about him, which is kind of a bad thing. I really think we should include our families in our dating journey, especially if they have our best interests at mind. I know it can be hard, and I know family dynamics are a little tough.
We were still like friends hanging out.
That was early friend vibe for sure.
But
and then all of a sudden I'm like, want to come to my brother's wedding as my date?
You took it to the next level by inviting me to your brother's wedding. That's when I was like, whoa. And then your parents and stuff are like, whoa, who's this guy?
Yeah. It was so sweet though. Adam's walking around helping my grandma get around because she needed help walking, and where my brother guys got married was a big hill and stuff. And that's all I really remember about the wedding was like you helping my grandma and catching the bouquet.
You caught the bouquet.
Yeah. I mean, I am
Did you make eye
5'11".
contact with me afterwards?
Probably.
You're like, what? What?
I've spent my whole life in the ocean, and I've learned, just like wearing a seatbelt or a helmet, safety matters. That's why my family and I use shark bands.
Shark Bands uses patented magnetic technology to deter sharks by disrupting their electroreception. Kind of like a bright light in their eyes that says, nope, not today, shark face. No batteries, no charging, just simple, effective peace of mind.
Whether we're surfing, swimming, or just splashing around, shark bands is our go-to for ocean safety.
You want to geek out on how it works? Dive into episode 14 for a deeper look at the tech.
And check the show notes for the link to shark bands, because your peace of mind in the ocean is worth it. Stay safe, stay stoked, and keep loving the ocean. So yeah, I caught the bouquet, and then, Adam was my date. So that was, got everyone looking.
I think you bowled over a few girls to get that bouquet.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I am a professional athlete. I'm competitive. Plus, I'm tall and strong. You know, it's going to I think I've caught most bouquets anytime I've
You're the tallest. Yeah.
stood
100%.
in the pile. The one time I didn't catch one, I remember I purposefully relaxed and didn't, try
let
hard.
someone else get it. Yeah. It's their turn.
But this one trip, I get home after being gone for a while, and Adam's like, let's hang out.
Oh, yeah.
And he lives way on the west side. It's like a 2 hour plus drive. So it's kind of a big, commitment to go and drive and hang out. But there happened to be a really good swell at the same time. And that side of the island had some really epic surf. And I beeline it straight to the surf.
This
and
was
Adam
me starting to understand,
has no clue why I'm bailing him after being gone on a trip too.
I'm like, what is going on? It made me
mad.
Pretty mad. I'm like, what in the world? But now I totally understand, and I'm like, I'm not mad looking in the past.
Well, yeah,
but my former self did not understand when there's certain waves going off, which means it's really good, world class action. You, as a surfer, you can't miss it.
Yeah.
That's one of those
or at
opportunities.
least you try really hard not to miss
try
it.
not to miss it.
Unless you have something super obligation of some sort. But yeah, so I bail him, and I have an insane surf too. I'm getting epic waves. I'm getting barreled, and it's just really good surf. And then later on, I'm trying to connect with him, and I go to see him later, and I realize he's mad, and I was just in La La Surfland.
You were so stoked. You're like, that was the best day. And I'm like, what? What about me?
Poor Adam. So eventually he figured it out.
We got through it. So when we got through those tougher times, we had a lot of good times. And come the winter, we were getting into this earlier. Wintertime, also the waves are really good. And even to this day, we lock down our calendar so that we try to protect that time, not only for, for Christmas and Thanksgiving, being with family, but the waves are incredible here on the North Shore during that time. And I knew things were getting serious between us. It was winter. And I was going to go home to visit my family. And I'm like, Bethany should come. She needs to meet my family because things are getting to that point where
things are getting pretty serious around here.
I think we had already, did we say that I love you by that point?
I think
so.
Maybe.
We have confessed our love for each other already. And
who said it first?
I said it first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just figured everyone would want to know.
With that point, by that time of when we were dating at that point, we were dating with not just for fun dating. It was we were dating with the intention of hey, we're going to get married.
Yeah.
And
or
at least the intention
looking, considering if we were the right fit for marriage. I had never intended to date for fun,
Yeah.
or just to have a good time. So it was very, I'm looking for a husband here.
Yeah. And we were both, I think as a child, I'd always imagined being married I remember by 22. I'd always, when I was little, I was like, yeah, I'm going to be married by the time I'm 22. I'm going to have like
Really? You had that?
4
I've never heard
children.
that. What? You wanted 4 children?
Yeah.
Wow, and your dreams came
It's-
true.
I know.
I mean, you were
Well,
a couple years late on marriage,
yeah.
but
So that's
you were
why I was
24.
like, I'm not joking around here. That's why I was like, I'm past my
Wow,
childhood.
you really premeditated that aspect of your life. That's kind of cool. I didn't know that, and I don't think a lot of guys do that.
I don't know.
Wonder.
There was like a pro and con of it. There was a certain point where like as a child, I kind of was discontent with where I was at in life rather than enjoying,
Yeah.
specifically middle school, high school years. I was like, oh, I can't wait for this season to be over.
Yeah.
Rather, I think that's something that the devil tries to like mess with us, where we get discontent with where we are presently, or like we feel anxiety about the future, or we feel guilt over our past. And rather than living where God has us right now, we can become, a little too, I don't know, a little too worried. You get that anxiety, or you're heavy in your heart. So anyways, that was like, I think I kind of struggle with that a bit, but I really wanted that though for my life in the future. So it was good. It was
I like
good.
it. I like it.
Yeah.
So we're going back to Kansas. It's the dead
In
of
winter.
winter. I'm leaving good serve.
That's when I knew I was like, okay, this is awesome. Like,
But I
she really
remember kind of
values-
having like a freak out moment of like, if I'm going back to meet his family, I felt like I was saying yes already.
totally.
But
If we didn't lock it down, it was.
I
Like,
shouldn't have thought like that. I should have been a little more lighthearted about it. But
it was pretty serious though.
Yeah.
For sure. We met my parents. Then you go on another big trip. She had a really cool opportunity.
oh yeah.
You had a cool opportunity to go on that car rally race in Morocco.
Yeah, so my friend Emily Miller, like a hardcore car race driver, like recruited me to go on this rally, female rally in Morocco in the boonies, and it was insane. I went with Chrissy Beavis, she was my partner, and we're navigating ourselves around Morocco and like in the desert, like just totally being stretched in a different environment. That was amazing.
Super cool. And then, but with that, so you're in the middle of nowhere. You can email me like
Yeah.
once a week, was it?
It was just really tough
once every
to
couple
communicate
days, yeah.
to anyone.
But that was giving me time to plan that when you returned, we went on a special outing together. So I worked on a part-time on a tour boat, little Zodiac tour.
To take people on boat rides
Yeah.
out on the south side.
Or
west
that wasn't
side.
it. So we went to Allerton's first. Gosh,
So
I
we
must-
meet up to go to the beach
Yeah.
and hang out and catch up after I'd been gone.
It's like this cool private beach zone, and we're catching up, and it's like let's go on this walk through these like beautiful little coconut tree zones. And
I think you should have proposed to me in my swimsuit, but he brought clothes because
Oh,
he
yeah, we
didn't want
had
me in a swimsuit.
So like, let's change. Did we change first?
Yeah,
And
you
like,
and it
knew.
was creepy because he had like taken my clothes somehow.
Your mom
And he
helped
had-
me.
Yeah,
Your mom.
he had brought my own clothes, and I was like, "What?" And
How
then
did
I
he
knew,
get my clothes?
I knew he
That
was
was the
proposing
giveaway.
at that point. But it was really sweet. It was, for lack of a better term, a magical day.
Wow.
Perfect proposal day, at least for my vibe, because
was.
yeah, I think I'm more of like a nature girl. So he proposed to me in the garden, super beautiful, private, like no one around.
Except for the photographer, I had our friend. I hired him
Friend
to hide
hiding
in
in
the
the
bushes
bush.
to get snag a shot. And then, so it's beautiful. We have our proposal moment, like confessing our love to each other, and asking you to marry me. I get on my knee, and it's like, yeah, man, that was such a good
yes.
moment. Like, yeah, it
It
was
was
beautiful.
so sweet. And the moment that really stood out to me, I guess it shows my heart, is like, so after he had his auntie friend who he worked for bring her Zodiac boat
Into the
and pick
bay.
us up in the little bay, we swim out to the boat, go for a little boat ride and snorkel.
Hmm.
And then we come back to the harbor, and my whole family is there, and Adam's Hanaya family, who Ward,
Ward
and
guys,
all
yeah.
their family. And then we had a
A
dinner
big dinner.
celebration with everyone right there on the ocean. And
I
I was
can
like ball
envision it.
crying when I
Yeah, when
saw
we pulled
everyone
up and you're just like
there.
crying.
That was a good surprise aspect. Just like
Yeah,
I wasn't anticipating about to see all our loved ones.
and
And
celebrate that moment
yeah,
together. Yeah.
that was so perfect.
Wow. So yeah, our journey continues, and
Fast forward now,
yeah,
we have 4 beautiful children.
yeah,
Um,
going on 12 years almost, and yeah, it's just an amazing picture of God's grace and forgiveness for each other in our lives, and we can dive in another time about like marriage and
yes.
just so much that you learn through that relationship, but
I
just how we
like
met in our dating was such a beautiful time in our lives. I
It
feel like
was
it
really
was,
fun. And I know not everyone has, Adam and I kind of came together really naturally and easy. Granted, our friends had our best interests in mind, like
yeah,
trying to
that
set
was
us
cool.
up. Now I'm like, be open to being set up. I know it might not always work, but it may. When like a group of
Give it a
people
try.
like knows 2 people, they
Yeah,
might be able to help you. I just feel like the dating culture can be so challenging nowadays. Like,
man.
a lot of my friends are married and a lot are not, and I have joy for both of them and also mourning for them. I know some of them they want to get married, they want to find that right person, and yeah,
Yeah.
I actually would love to do some episodes on just supporting singles in their
Yeah.
journey.
I'm sure there's so many challenges that I mean, we had smartphones then, but it's just a different
It's
culture, a different
so
time now.
different.
It's like, wow.
Yeah.
And just not only support individuals, but like, how can we support parents and helping their
Yeah.
children be ready for that phase in their life? I think like that's going to be some awesome stuff ahead
Yeah.
that we
And
can
I
get
had
into.
done, like, I think in my teen years, I had done a purity Bible study with my best girlfriends. This auntie kind of would just pick us up, bring chocolate and snacks, and lure us to the beach with her. With her sweet heart, and we went through this purity Bible study, and that really, like, I think that helped set me up for a better approach to dating and also God's approach to dating. And so we waited till marriage and then got married, and yeah, it's been such an amazing journey since. I had recently listened to a podcast that a mentor friend who had sent to me, and it was talking about marriage being like God's way of refining us and how to celebrate, while
Hmm.
it's not going to be a perfect journey, still so much goodness and beauty can come out of the challenges that you may face
Yeah.
in your marriage. And I think we have a beautiful marriage, but we've certainly had our fair share of challenges along the way too. And
Yeah.
but I think whatever challenge we may be facing in life, it's a call to look to God to be the author and finisher of our faith, the one to trust in Him to lead us to His path. And even more so in marriage and parenting and singleness, wherever you may be, or maybe in heartache and pain and turmoil, wherever, everyone's going through something different at some point or another. But either way, we want God to be a part of our journey and to be the strength and the, be the one to lead and guide us.
Yes. So by doing that, there's this verse in Proverbs chapter 16. It says, commit to the Lord whatever you do, and he will establish your plans. The Lord works out everything to its proper end, even the wicked for a day of disaster. The Lord detests all the proud of heart. Be sure of this, they will not go unpunished. Let's go back to the top of that, though. Commit to the Lord whatever you do, and he will establish your plans. So even when that comes to like dating, when that comes to the menial tasks that we do, to the big things, the big decisions in our life, like we're called to pray. We're called to pray over our relationships, to pray over our future wife or future husband if you're not married yet. Like, let's commit that to the Lord. And, even though it may not go as the plan that you think, we just have to trust that his will is being done. And he does answer our prayer. Whether
It
it be
may
a
not
yes,
be in our
it may
way.
not- right.
It's always like his design is better than ours. So trusting in the Lord that the way he answers is okay and good and for us.
Yeah, so we just want to encourage you. Like, I hope this story was fun to listen to, and I hope it encourages you to like trust that the Lord has you, and that you can commit these things that are in your life, commit it to the Lord, and know that you're walking in his path and his will is being done. And we're just thankful that we're here together and that we can be an encouragement to y'all and make an impact. And, first of all, like loving our family, loving our children, that's so much the most important thing. And that's what you're going to see through these episodes, that we're going to just be encouraging y'all as much as we can to dive deeper into your family. And just glad that we get to be a part of that journey.
Yes, thank y'all so much. We're so grateful to be a part of your life, and I hope you found this encouraging episode.
Aloha.